There is a war happening right now, not between nations or armies, but between light and darkness. A battle that your eyes cannot see, but your spirit feels every day. It began before time, when pride rose against the throne. And ever since that rebellion, creation itself has been divided between those who bow before the king and those who try to steal his crown. But Psalm 24 reveals the truth behind this unseen conflict. It is not the dragon who wins. It is the King of Glory who reigns. He is not a distant ruler. He is a warrior, strong and mighty in battle. His voice shakes heavens, his light blinds darkness, and his kingdom cannot be shaken. Even now, Michael and his angels stand in formation, holding back forces unseen, and every prayer of the righteous strengthens their ranks. You are not watching a story. You are standing in the middle of the war. The earth belongs to the Lord, and everything in it. Yet the enemy still dares to claim dominion over what he did not create. He builds his thrones in human hearts, whispers lies into weary souls. But the psalm declares, "Lift up your heads, O gates, and the King of Glory shall come in." That is not a verse. It is a command to every soul still trapped in fear. Every locked heart is a gate waiting to open. And when it does, heaven invades earth. This is not just a song of David. It is a prophecy unfolding before your eyes. You feel it in the tension of this age, in the darkness that tries to silence faith. But remember, the greater the storm, the closer the king. He does not retreat when darkness rises. He rides upon it in glory. And when he enters, every dragon falls, every chain breaks, every gate opens. For no power of hell can resist the king who reigns forever. And today, Psalm 24 reminds you, the war is real, but so is the victory. Stay until the end of this prayer. Because before this video ends, the King of Glory will not just pass by, he will enter into your home, into your battle, into your heart. The gates are about to open, and the King of Glory is coming in. The psalm opens with a decree that shakes eternity. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. Before any empire rose, before evil whispered its rebellion, this truth stood unshaken. The earth does not belong to darkness, it belongs to its creator. But ever since pride was found in heaven, the enemy has sought to claim what was never his. And though the battle is unseen, its tremors echo in every nation, every heart. We walk not upon neutral ground, but upon contested soil. The war for worship began before time, and it still rages today. When you look at the world, you may only see chaos, wars, fear, injustice. But in the invisible realm, the conflict is far greater. Michael and his angels still contend against the dragon and his legions. Every temptation, every doubt, every tear is part of that unseen struggle. The enemy seeks dominion, but he fights on borrowed ground. For the earth was founded upon the seas by the hand of the Almighty. It stands not by politics or power, but by divine decree. The battlefield is not the soil beneath our feet. It is the soul within. Human hearts are the territories the enemy covets. He builds fortresses of pride, fear, and rebellion in those who forget their Maker. But the Lord still calls, "Who will ascend my hill? Who will stand in my holy place?" The true war is for purity, not power. The throne of the heart determines the outcome of the unseen war. And the question remains, who reigns within you, the dragon or the King of Glory? The Psalm of David becomes a prophetic window into the cosmic conflict. The King of Glory is not fighting for land. He is reclaiming worship. The enemy does not fear weapons. He fears truth. He trembles when a believer remembers who truly owns the earth, because authority returns where revelation is restored. When the righteous declare, "The earth is the Lord's," darkness loses territory. Every spoken word of truth becomes a sword in the hands of heaven. The foundations of the world were laid by divine wisdom, not chance. When God spoke the waters into order, light pushed back the void. From that moment, the enemy's rebellion was doomed to fail. For every realm he invades, God has already written the redemption. The cross was not the beginning of victory, it was its fulfillment. The earth's ownership was sealed in blood, not ink. And that covenant cannot be broken by any power of darkness. In the invisible world, angels still move across the nations. They guard borders not of land, but of destiny. Michael, the prince of heaven's armies, stands where faith is tested. He wars not with metal swords, but with divine authority. His blade is light, his shield is truth, his command is obedience. And when the saints pray, he advances. For the prayers of the faithful fuel the strategies of heaven. Evil may roar, but its sound is hollow against the voice of the Creator. The dragon may deceive, but his time is short and his throne borrowed. Every shadow he casts is only possible because light exists. Every storm he sends only serves to reveal the strength of faith. For when darkness rises, heaven responds. The Lord still rides upon the wind of worship. And those who lift his name become part of the army unseen. You were not born into peace, you were born into a war already raging. But fear not, for the commander of heaven knows your name. You are not a bystander, you are a soldier of light. Your worship is your weapon, your purity, your protection. Every time you choose forgiveness over hate, you advance heaven's line. Every time you pray when silence feels heavy, you strengthen Michael's ranks. Your life is not small. It echoes in realms you cannot see. The Lord reigns not as a distant observer, but as the rightful king. He is not competing with darkness. He is reclaiming his dominion. Every storm, every resistance, every battle is under his command. Even the enemy's attacks serve the unfolding of his glory. For the earth, though shaken, remains his footstool. And from that throne he decrees, "Be still and know that I am God." No rebellion can dethrone the one who reigns forever. The conflict may be invisible, but its effects are felt in every human story. When peace feels impossible, remember, there is warfare in the heavens. When injustice seems to prevail, know that justice is marching with angels. When hope seems crushed, remember that Michael still fights. You are not abandoned in this war. You are guarded in glory. Even now the hosts of heaven encamp around those who fear the Lord. The unseen realm is not silent. It is roaring with redemption. To say, "The earth is the Lord's," is to make a declaration of war. It is to remind the dragon that ownership has already been decided. It is to plant the flag of heaven in the soil of the soul. Every believer who prays becomes a gate for the King of Glory to enter. And every gate opened in faith becomes a stronghold of light. Hell trembles when earth remembers heaven's authority. Because this world does not belong to evil, it belongs to Elohim. The mountains that seem immovable still bow to his will. The oceans that rage still hear his voice. Even nature participates in the war between order and rebellion. The earth groans, not in despair, but in anticipation. It waits for the sons and daughters of light to stand, to reclaim not land but holiness, to prepare the way for the return of the King. And though the war feels long, the end is already written. The Lamb has conquered, the throne is unshaken, and heaven is winning. Michael fights not for victory but from it. The dragon rages not in power but in desperation. The King of Glory is coming to claim what is his. And soon, every nation, every voice, every creature will confess, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The battlefield of heaven does not favor the strongest, it favors the purest. The psalm asks, "Who may ascend the hill of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place?" That is not a question of strength, but of surrender. For the war between good and evil is not won by weapons, but by worship. The enemy trembles not before armies, but before those who walk in holiness. Purity is power in the kingdom of light, and righteousness is the armor that darkness cannot penetrate. The hill of the Lord is not reached by climbing. It is reached by cleansing. Hands washed in truth, hearts emptied of deceit, eyes fixed on glory. For those who seek God with divided hearts cannot stand where his presence dwells. Heaven's hill is not a place of spectators, but of soldiers purified by fire. Those who ascend are not perfect, they are surrendered. They do not boast in their deeds, but in his mercy. Their victory is not of effort, but of intimacy. The greatest deception of the enemy is to make purity seem impossible. He whispers, "You will never be worthy," hoping you'll never approach the throne. But purity is not the absence of failure. It is the presence of repentance. Every confession weakens hell's claim over your soul. Every tear of surrender becomes a weapon of light. For in the courts of heaven, humility is might, and the one who kneels becomes the one who conquers. When David wrote these words, he saw beyond Jerusalem's hills. He saw a prophetic mountain rising through the ages, the hill of Calvary. Upon that hill, blood met mercy, and innocence defeated accusation. The Lamb of God ascended where no man could climb. He carried purity not as an achievement, but as identity. And from that cross he declared, "It is finished." The war for holiness was won in a single breath of surrender. Now every believer stands upon that same hill in spirit. We are not climbing toward victory. We are walking in its shadow. Every battle for purity is a remembrance of that moment. Every temptation resisted echoes his triumph. For the King of Glory does not reign from distance, but from within his people. He purifies us not to punish, but to empower. He washes us to make us warriors of light. Those who have clean hands and a pure heart are heaven's gatekeepers. Wherever they walk, portals open. Their presence changes atmospheres. Darkness retreats, peace expands. The dragon cannot dwell where purity reigns. He feeds on corruption, but starves in the presence of holiness. So the pure become famine to the enemy and favor to the heavens. Their lives become the hill of the Lord upon the earth. Holiness is not a robe you wear, it's a fire you carry. It consumes hypocrisy and lights the path for others. Those who burn with it never walk alone, for angels are drawn to the flame. Michael's ranks march beside those whose hearts are undivided. Their prayers ascend faster, their words carry weight, because purity aligns man's will with heaven's command. And aligned hearts are unstoppable in spiritual warfare. The clean-handed do not lift their souls to idols. That means they refuse to worship what the world celebrates. They do not crave applause, they crave alignment. They understand that true promotion comes from the throne, not from men. They would rather lose favor with the world than lose fellowship with God. For they know that temporary crowns are dust before eternal glory. And the dragon offers dust disguised as diamonds. To ascend the hill of the Lord is to reject the lowlands of compromise. Every decision for righteousness is a step upward. Every moment of integrity is a declaration of allegiance to heaven. Even when no one sees, God records the ascent. Heaven keeps score differently than earth. For in this war, secret purity is louder than public power. And a single whisper of obedience can shake unseen kingdoms. The psalm declares, "He shall receive blessing from the Lord." That blessing is not riches, it is reinforcement. When you walk in purity, heaven assigns angels to your cause. Michael stands ready where integrity stands firm. The dragon loses ground every time a saint refuses deceit. The blessing of the pure is not comfort, it is authority. They carry God's approval, and hell can't counterfeit it. To keep your heart pure in a corrupt world is not weakness, it's warfare. It's to stand where others bow, to love where others hate, to forgive where others fight. Purity is rebellion against the darkness that rules this age. It is the greatest resistance to the dragon's dominion. The clean of heart are not naive, they are dangerous, because they see what others can't, that holiness wins where hatred fails. And heaven always sides with those who keep their hearts untainted. Every generation faces its own version of this ascent. Ours is not physical but spiritual, a climb through distraction and deception. We battle through noise, temptation, and false glory. But every moment of surrender builds a staircase to heaven. Every yes to God echoes through eternity. The mountain of the Lord rises wherever the faithful stand firm. And the higher we climb, the clearer the view of his coming. Those who ascend carry a new name, the generation that seeks his face. They are not defined by failure, but by pursuit. Their eyes are fixed on the horizon of eternity. They long not for comfort, but for communion. They are priests in a world of performers, soldiers in a land of sleepers. Their purity is their banner, their worship, their warfare. They live not to survive the battle, but to reveal the King. For the true victory of this invisible war will not be measured in armies. It will be measured in hearts that stayed pure until the end. And when the final trumpet sounds, when the heavens open wide, those who ascended the hill will see the King of Glory face to face. They will stand not as spectators, but as sons and daughters of light, and their purity will shine brighter than the scars of battle. For holiness was always heaven's greatest weapon. The psalm thunders across eternity. Lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of Glory shall come in. This is not poetry, it is prophecy. Every gate, every realm, every stronghold that has resisted his rule must open. The voice of David here is not human, it's heavenly command. For the battle that began in heaven now approaches its conclusion on earth. The King of Glory is not requesting entrance, he is reclaiming it. And no dragon, no dominion, no darkness can keep him out. In the unseen realm, the cry echoes like thunder. Angels rise in formation. The hosts of heaven march with flame and light. Michael leads them, his sword blazing with divine authority. The time of tolerance has ended. The time of triumph has begun. Every gate of pride and rebellion trembles at the sound of his name. The gates of hell cannot resist what the gates of heaven release. The King of Glory advances, not as a guest, but as a conqueror. Who is this King of Glory? The psalm asks, He is the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. This is not a gentle image. It is a war cry from eternity. He rides not upon clouds of comfort, but on chariots of fire. The heavens quake before him. The stars align at his word. Even the dragon knows this sound. It is the voice that banished him once. And soon that same voice will silence him forever. The ancient gates symbolize more than cities. They represent realms. Portals of authority, influence, and power that belong to God, but were stolen by sin. The enemy built fortresses upon what once was holy ground. But now the shout of heaven demands restoration. Lift up your heads, O gates, your true master approaches. What darkness built in arrogance, light will reclaim in glory. And every locked door of deception will burst open in his presence. You're not only a witness to this moment, you are part of it. Your soul is a gate. Your heart is a door. When you yield to the King, you become a passage through which heaven invades earth. Every prayer you pray becomes a bridge for glory to enter this world. Every act of faith opens another door for redemption to flow. For the King of Glory is not only coming to the earth, he is coming through his people. We are his gates, our worship his entrance. When the King enters, everything changes. Chains break without being touched. Strongholds crumble at the sound of his arrival. Fear flees because perfect love marches in. Demons scatter, for light has found no fellowship with their darkness. The atmosphere itself bends under the weight of his holiness. The earth feels what the heavens have long known. The rightful King has come. This is not only the Psalm of David, it is the anthem of the end times. We are watching prophecy unfold before our very eyes. Nations are trembling, kingdoms are collapsing, and portals are opening. The heavens are preparing for the final unveiling of the King of Glory. Michael and his angels are already securing the realms for his descent. The dragon knows his time is short. His fury is desperation, not dominance. For the shout, "Lift up your heads," is the trumpet of heaven's victory. In the unseen sky, the armies of light advance. Flames of gold sweep through the dark corridors of the atmosphere. Every whispered prayer from the faithful below becomes their rallying cry. The war that began with rebellion is ending with redemption. The Son of God rides not as a lamb this time, but as a roaring lion. The banner of his kingdom bears one name, the Lord of hosts, and his command is final: open and let the King of Glory in. Who is this King of Glory? The question echoes again, not from ignorance but awe. He is the Lord of hosts, commander of heaven's armies, the one whose eyes are fire, whose voice shakes creation. He does not enter softly. He enters as storm and light combined. His footsteps are justice. His breath is restoration. Where he reigns, death retreats. Where he stands, no darkness remains. Even the ancient gates of death will lift before him. The grave itself cannot remain sealed in his presence. For the same voice that cried, "Lazarus, come forth," will one day call nations by name, and every knee, celestial, earthly, and infernal, will bow. Every crown will fall before the radiance of his majesty. Every lie will melt before the light of his truth. For the King of glory has come to reign, not visit. Do not think of this moment as distant prophecy. It has already begun. Every revival, every deliverance, every healing is a glimpse of his march. Every soul saved is another gate flung wide for his glory. The church is not waiting for the king. The king is awakening the church. He is calling his gates to rise, his watchmen to awaken, his people to stand. The glory that once rested upon temples now fills hearts, and those hearts will blaze brighter than the sun in his coming. The dragon resists, but his resistance is futile. His gates were built on lies, and truth is dismantling them one by one. He hurls accusations, but they vanish before the blood of the Lamb. He spreads fear, but heaven responds with fire. Michael's sword flashes across the unseen sky, cutting through deception. The war is fierce, but the outcome is fixed. The King of Glory is not approaching defeat. He is announcing dominion. Lift up your head, O weary soul, for your redemption draws near. The King of Glory does not enter empty-handed. He carries victory, healing, and justice in his train. He enters not to destroy you, but to dwell among you. Let every fear yield, every wall collapse, every gate open. The Lord strong and mighty is coming in, and he will reign, not just above us, but within us. So let creation rise and echo the psalmist's cry once more. Lift up your heads, O gates. Lift them up, you everlasting doors. For the King of Glory is not a myth. He is motion. He rides through galaxies, through nations, through hearts. His reign is not approaching, it is unfolding. And when he finally appears in full glory, heaven and earth will sing as one. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. The war that began before time now nears its end. The psalm that opened with ownership now closes with conquest. The earth that once groaned under rebellion is now echoing with redemption. The cry, "Who is this King of Glory?" is no longer a question. It is a coronation. Heaven and earth join in unison as eternity crowns its rightful king. The dragon who defied the throne has no realm left to rule. For the gates of glory have opened, and the Lord of hosts has entered forever. In the unseen heavens, the final clash unfolds in brilliance beyond comprehension. Michael, the archangel of war, leads the hosts of light with unflinching purpose. His sword, forged in righteousness, burns brighter than 10,000 suns. The dragon roars, but his roar is hollow, a sound of vanishing dominion. He hurls accusations like arrows, but they shatter against the armor of the Lamb. Every lie collapses beneath the truth written in eternity's decree. And the heavens declare, "Now has come the salvation and the kingdom of our God. This is the war beneath all wars, unseen, yet felt in every generation." The dragon's rebellion was not only cosmic, it was personal. He sought to corrupt what God called holy, the human heart. But redemption entered the battlefield in human form. Through the cross, the Lamb stripped the serpent of his crown. Through the resurrection, he sealed the dragon's fate. Through his return, he will complete the victory that began in heaven. The King of Glory rides again, not as a suffering servant, but as a conquering king. His robe is dipped in blood, not of defeat but of deliverance. His name is called Faithful and True, and his word is a sword. Heaven opens, and the armies follow him, countless clothed in light. Michael rides beside him, leading ranks of radiant warriors. The sound of their march shakes galaxies. Their cry pierces eternity, and before them every force of darkness scatters like smoke in sunlight. The dragon, once radiant, now recoils in terror. His brilliance has turned to ashes, his pride to agony. He knows the sound of that approaching king. It is the voice that once expelled him. He trembles as he remembers the throne he tried to steal. But now there is no place left for him in heaven or on earth. Michael's blade falls like thunder, and the rebellion that began with pride ends with silence. The serpent of old is cast down forever. The war is over, yet the echo of it remains in the redeemed. They carry the memory of battle, but no scar of defeat. For the Lamb has made them kings and priests, and they reign with him. The earth, once defiled by sin, now becomes the stage of divine restoration. The rivers sing, the mountains bow, the stars realign in worship. Creation no longer groans, it rejoices. The universe has been restored to its rightful harmony. Lift up your heads, O gates. Resounds once more, but now from every heart. The King of glory no longer enters, he dwells. The throne is not just in heaven, it rests within his people. The war for dominion has become a covenant of dwelling. No more tears, no more night, no more curse. The Lamb who was slain now reigns as the Lion of Judah, and his kingdom shall know no end. The saints who endured stand radiant beside him. Their robes gleam with purity purchased by mercy. They overcame not by might, but by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Each one a living proof that grace was stronger than sin. Each one a witness that faith outlasted fear. They are the gates through which the King entered the world. And now they are crowned with the glory they once longed for. Michael's army stands at rest, their swords raised in reverent salute. The dragon lies defeated, his name erased from heaven's scrolls. The war that began in pride ends in praise. The silence that follows is not empty, it is sacred. For the King now sits enthroned between time and eternity. The angels bow, the redeemed sing, the heavens glow with worship. Every being knows the Lord of hosts reigns forever and ever. The psalm is fulfilled in a single image, the King of glory reigning. The earth that was his by right is now his by redemption. Every tear shed in battle has become a gem in his crown. Every prayer whispered in faith became a victory cry in heaven. Every act of trust was a weapon in the unseen war. And now the faithful stand victorious beside the King. Not servants, but sons and daughters of glory. Look beyond what your eyes can see, for the war still echoes in this age. But take heart, victory is not approaching. It's already secured. Every time you pray, you enforce that triumph. Every act of faith reaffirms that the King still reigns. You are not waiting for the end. You are living in the victory of it. Michael still stands guard, and the Spirit still empowers the saints. The throne of the dragon is dust beneath the feet of the redeemed. The King reigns not only over creation, but within the heart that trusts him. Wherever he is enthroned, peace becomes permanent. His glory is not an event, it is an atmosphere. His reign is not delayed, it's unfolding. And his presence is not limited, it fills the heavens and the earth. The King of glory has entered, and nothing can drive him out. He reigns now and forevermore. The cry of heaven and earth unites in one voice. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength. And from the dust of battle rises a new creation. The gates that once resisted now shine like crystal, always open. For there is no more night in the kingdom of the Lamb. The glory of God illuminates it, and the Lamb is its light. And his name shall be upon every redeemed heart forever. The psalm that began with, "The earth is the Lord's," ends with, "The Lord reigns forever." The conflict has been conquered, the crown restored, the covenant fulfilled. The dragon is gone, the curse reversed, and the kingdom come. And from age to age, this truth will echo across eternity. The earth belongs to the Lord, and now so does every heart. The King of glory reigns, and his light will never fade. Forever and ever he is victorious. If this message stirred your spirit, don't let it end here. Declare in the comments below, "The King of glory reigns over my life." Because every word you speak in faith becomes a victory cry in the unseen realm. Share this video so more hearts open their gates to the Lord. And if you haven't yet, Subscribe to Daily Psalms, where every prayer is a battle won, and every verse reminds you that heaven is still fighting for you. The war may be invisible, but your worship makes it visible. Lift up your head, O gate, and let the King of Glory come in.